My name is Carmack and welcome to your HUD Masterclass. I recently did a job where I turned an Insta360 into the POV of a battle droid. And so I tracked in your classic sci-fi elements like your little targeting blinkers, everything that you would see from Iron Man. The combination of knowing how to track these into the scene while making them look digitally in sci-fi is an effect that you can use everywhere. And before we get started, this amazing video is sponsored by Squarespace. First things first, I want to go over where I'm going to get my assets, which is productioncrate.com, link in the description. I pay for this service, but they have tons of free downloads as well, so you can get these HUDs right here for free if you want. So first things first, we're going to pick our footage that we want to target. So to begin, we're going to track the person's head so we can put a target onto it. So we're going to come to the motion tracking panel and click motion tracker. All we need for this is just the 1-point motion tracker. And I'm going to put it on this dude's head and then track the scene. Unfortunately for me, this guy's hat was like the same color as the sand, so I had to do a lot of manually tracking frame by frame. But after the tracking was over, I created a new null object, and in the motion tracking panel, I edited the target to apply to this null, and then I hit apply. So now when we watch this back, you can see that our null is perfectly tracked to our little head. Now that we have our super useful tracking data, we're gonna go to productioncrate.com and find some HUD assets. But in my case, I downloaded a various amount of HUD elements so I could change them out through the scene. So I liked this HUD to be the first one because it's got like this locking in on target vibe. It's giving Star Wars, if you know what I mean, like when an X-Wing locks onto a TIE fighter. So we're gonna drag this over our dude's head, and then we're just gonna link this to the null. And let's watch it back. Incredible, you're one step closer to being Iron Man now. And so to customize the color of your HUDs in your effects and presets panel, we're gonna look up an effect called fill. To apply that to any layer, you can pick the fill color it is. I chose my starting one to be white. In my head, I feel like the inspiration here was the target doesn't turn red or look evil until we start shooting. So it's like, searching, bad guy. And if we look at a lot of reference material for this kind of effect, like if we're looking at Iron Man, when these HUD elements pop up on screen, they like move around really fast. They like switch to different little HUD elements. And so in this video, I like put 5 different ones in there as it's constantly changing. So after like we've locked in on our target, I will now scale from 0 to 100 a new HUD that's red. So I put the fill effect on this one, turned it red. And once the first HUD went off, I scale it up from 0 to 100 to make it look like, ooh, target acquired. And so now that you kind of understand this little workflow of having the HUDs tracked and pop in and out, to make them look a little more sci-fi and digitally, I'll go over that plugin stack. So I'm putting the effect Venetian blinds on these, and if we set the angle to 90 degrees, crank the transition up like 10%, we play around with the width to be small, you're basically creating these little scan lines. So now that we got our little digitally lines, I'll add whatever your favorite glow effect is. Mine is optical glow. So it looks like we have these glowy digital scan lines on our HUDs, and we love that. And now I want to go over how these HUDs can like physically affect your scene, making the effect more realistic and believable. And at one point, I actually zoomed in and out of my 360 footage just like this. And so now when I add my HUD into the scene tracked onto my person, if I turn the scaling to not uniform, so I can scale it vertically or horizontally, I'm keyframing the scale of this crosshair to get wide, like super wide, and then I'm keyframing it to go back to its original size on the zoom out. So it kind of looks like the drone is using its crosshair to research for this person. Another amazing way, especially if you look at Iron Man references, when the HUDs go over a specific target, they'll either glow like green for good guy, red for bad guy, or they'll have these little digitally lines on the insides of their silhouettes. So to do that, we are going to mask out whatever character we've just tracked. And once you have a really good mask of your person, every time one of these HUD elements goes over top of his head, you can apply the curves effect to your mask layer, and you can keyframe the color that you want displayed. So like as my initial target pops up on the guy's head, I'm animating him to turn red. So it's like the drone is seeing red. It makes the HUDs interact with your subject, and it's cool. Since we actually have tracked our head, we can bring like a looping digital texture into our scene and put it over top of our person, and we'll link it to the null that's tracked on his head. So as he's running, there's like this texture that's like perfectly on his body. And since we've masked him out, We can use the body as an alpha matte for this looping texture. As he's running, you can see that he's got some like really nice digital texture as he's like glowing red and being sussed out by the drone. And one last tip I have for making really convincing like drone footage like this is if you duplicate your original layer, let's go to your effects and presets panel and type in find edges. This effect is awesome. It kind of recreates that Predator look when he's looking through his vision and like Alien versus Predator. So I'm gonna actually set this to screen now. So all these weird little details that just got created will show up underneath my mask and in my drone scene. And if I apply like a glow or a color vibrance effect to this find edges, I can now control the color and the look of this digital texture that's now in my scene. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you animate Iron Man's HUD, or like a droid, Star Wars. Basically, this effect can be applied to so many things. I hope everyone goes and makes a Star Wars film now. And that's like my best, most useful tips for doing the HUD effect. I hope everyone learned something and enjoyed this tutorial, and it's time to thank today's amazing sponsor, Squarespace. From online stores and marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform. Let's say you want to be an incredible business person like me. Squarespace will set you up for all the success in the world. First of all, you can create custom merch all through them. They will help you with the designs. They handle the shipping and the inventory. So all you got to do is show up with a good idea and they'll help you execute physical products that'll help you connect with your audience. But what if you actually already make stuff and you want to sell stuff? Squarespace has you covered. They've got retail online stores that you can build. So if you sell jewelry, maybe furniture, you can list this stuff on Squarespace and you have an amazing retail website. Okay, but what about my content creators and influencers out there? Maybe you don't have like furniture that you're building that you want to sell. In member areas on Squarespace, you can upload exclusive bonus content that you're not posting anywhere else. You can drive traffic to your website and make profit by monetizing memberships to exclusive content they could only see on your Squarespace website. So become a business person with Squarespace. Create custom merch, sell retail items, or make money through monthly subscriptions to your bonus content. It's incredible. The options are endless. Best part is I got you hooked up with a discount code. So if you go to squarespace.com/willcarmack, you'll get 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you for sponsoring this video, Squarespace. I hope everyone learned something today, and where there's a will, there's a way. My name is Will, and have a nice day.